Hello, gamers. Making another one of these videos. Fun. I can't even film it where I would usually film it, in front of my green screen, which is right over there, because my floor is such a god-awful mess. But soon that will change, when the time comes that I actually clean said floor. And in the meantime, I'm just gonna be filming it here. Now, first thing, elephant in the room, I changed my head. Yes, I got my luscious locks trimmed. And it looks... Well, at least people don't think I'm a girl anymore. So that's... top-notch. And that's completely unrelated to anything else I'm going to be talking about in this video, but I just figured I'd bring it up because it's somewhat noticeable. I finished my first year of high school today. I'm not a freshman anymore, which gives me this really weird feeling of being old. And I hate it. And that's also completely unrelated to anything in the video, but again, it's something I kind of feel like bringing up because it's a moment that I'd like to in some way immortalize, and whether or not that's through a brief mention in a crappy YouTube video, then so be it. Anyways, the main thing I'm here to talk about is the Infinity Bit game, because, oh look at that, it's June 18th, and I'm not at all ready to release it, but I'm going to anyways. Just kidding. The game itself is actually fine. It's specifically the promotional material surrounding it that I haven't completely finished yet, so I'm kind of hoping you can bear with me on that. But yeah, I haven't actually talked about the game in video yet, but yeah, Infinity Bit is getting a game, and it's on the Nintendo Entertainment System from 1983. Never thought that was a sentence I'd say, but wow, it kind of feels good coming out of my mouth, I'm not gonna lie. That's what she said. Yeah. I made a game for the NES based on my crappy YouTube series. And it went pretty great, I think. The people I've showed it to said that it was, good. I think it's good. For what it is, and what it is basically a series of references to the show in the form of a video game, a collectathon to be more specific. It's cool. I like it. And the fact that it's on an NES, gimmick or not, I think is pretty cool. Especially because it means that it's also indirectly on just about every console that you can imagine that has an NES emulator. Because really, what console doesn't have an NES emulator on it nowadays? Let's be honest with ourselves. Not every emulator will work. NES DS, unfortunately, does not work with it. The best emulator that I could find that works with it is RetroArch, specifically using the core Quick NES. That seems to work very well. Very, very well. And with that, I managed to get it running on the Wii, and I managed to get it running on the 3DS, and I managed to get it running on the NES Classic with, like, no speed issues, no slowdown, no frame rate changes, running very, very well. Weirdly enough, the only thing that RetroArch seems to not work great with is the computer. In which case, just get Meson. It's a great emulator for the NES. It's my default NES emulator. And it is just an EXE program that you can bring around on, like, a USB drive or something. So it's pretty neat, all things considered. But yeah, Infinity Bit got a game. It's really cool. And I'm going to be releasing it in a variety of different ways. Now, it has a page on GameJolt. That is the way that it is being officially released, is on that GameJolt page, which I'm soon going to optimize with things like screenshots, because I have a bunch of screenshots that I took of the game that I just forgot to post to the page. So I'm going to add a bunch of screenshots to the page, and after I've done that, I'm going to start adding the packages. And there are a few packages. Now, the main one that I've been working on, and this is the one that I'm not at all yet ready to release, mainly because of the long play, is the premium package, which is really cool. It includes the game, it includes the soundtrack, it includes the manual. There's a manual that I made in the form of a PDF for the game, which I think is really cool. I could have just made like a README file, but I thought a manual would be way more fun. So yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that, but on top of that, there's a folder called Extra, and that's what makes the premium package so premium, because in that folder there's things like promo art, unused content, older versions of the game, unused songs from the game, or extended versions of songs from the game, save states to quickly get to different levels, specifically in Meeson, because apparently save states are different for each emulator as far as the file. Trying to think of what other cool stuff was in there. Alright, you know what? Why don't I just open the folder and look at it? There's going to be a video walkthrough. That is the thing that I'm not done yet. A video walkthrough. Sound effects, which aren't really a part of the soundtrack, so it's exclusive. And just a whole bunch of cool stuff like that. So that is going to be coming out within the next week. At least I'm gonna try and say that. I don't want to promise that, because I already made the mistake of promising that the game itself would come out today, and that's when I wanted to release all of the packages at once, because that makes the most sense. But I'm not done one of them, so I can't quite do that. But today I will be releasing 2 packages. The Bare Essentials package, which is just the game. Well, no, that's not really the Bare Essentials, that's just the game. There's gonna be the game, only the game, and nothing but the game, which is just the ROM. And I'm mainly uploading just the ROM on its own, not because you should ever just download the ROM on its own. Trust me, you'll want the manual. But mainly so that GameJolt can demo it in your browser. Because GameJolt has this really cool thing with the NES, where if you upload an NES ROM, it will actually recognize it as an NES ROM and emulate it in your browser, which is really cool. I like that. So I want there to be a playable online demo of this, for if you're, I don't know, looking at it on your school computer or something. In which case you probably can't watch any of my videos anyways, because they think they're restricted for some reason. I guess my videos are inappropriate. Apparently. But yeah. Then there's the primary package, which is just the game and the manual. And then the Bare Essentials package is just the game and the manual, and then the primary package is the game, the manual, and the soundtrack. The soundtrack is a strong point of the game. I'm really proud of the soundtrack. I think it's a really good soundtrack. That was... good job, me. I'm really proud of the soundtrack. I'm really happy with the way it turned out. I made it all in FamiTracker. Really cool program. The game itself I made in NES Maker. Also a really cool program, but I'm not here to talk about either of them, so I won't talk about them for 5 minutes as I usually would in these types of videos. Mainly because I have a thing to go to with my friends for graduating the first year of high school. Yay! But, yeah, one disclaimer about this game. And this has been in the trailer, this is on the page, this is in the manual. I'm making sure that this is very clear to people. Do not play this game unless you have seen Infinity Bit. And when I say have seen Infinity Bit, I mean the whole series. Technically, you'd probably be fine just watching up to, like, the end of Season 2, and then you'll get most of the references. If you just watch up until the end of Season 2, you'll be fine. If you don't want to watch Season 3, because Season 3 is kind of, how do you say it, a mess? Which, in all fairness, Season 2 also was made over the lifespan of 2 laptops, so... yeah, I think it's kind of understandable why it was a mess, because, you know, I almost lost everything. But, watch the show. Watch and the movie, because that is part of the series. And if you haven't watched it, you will get no enjoyment from this game. This game will give nothing to you if you have not seen the show. Because this game's writing and humor and levels and graphics and soundtrack and just about everything that has anything to do with this game is in some way tied to your knowledge of the show. There's a lot of references to the show. There's a lot of just... It's a video game adaptation of a show, you know? You wouldn't play South Park: The Stick of Truth unless you've seen South Park. That would just be dumb. Why would you do that, you know? It's kind of one of those deals. So just what I'm trying to say is, please don't play this if you haven't seen the series. And make sure you watch the series in order, too, because that's another thing. You can't watch the series out of order. It's not as episodic as maybe I would have liked it to be. But yeah. The game is coming out today. Yay! I'm probably just gonna call this video game, because I don't know what else to call it. And... yeah, within the next week or so, I hope I'll put out the premium package for the game, which will include a whole bunch of extra bonus material. On the same day, I will also just upload the long play, the video walkthrough, to my YouTube channel, so people can watch the game being played, because that's very premium. And if you have any piece of hardware at all, you can probably play this game on it, so you don't have to worry about not being able to play it, because it's an NES game. You can play it on your phone. RetroArch is on phones. You can play it on your computer. You can play it on a wide variety of consoles that have some kind of NES emulator on them. It's a very accessible game. It's free. I should probably mention that. I'm not making you pay for this, because why would I do that? In part because it's not high enough quality for it to be commercial, and in part because it uses copyrighted material sometimes, specifically copyrighted characters. But yeah, I'm very proud of the way it turned out. I think that it could have been a lot worse. Cough, cough, this old prototype that I still have for a video game based on Infinity Bit I've been working on since Infinity Bit was only 3 episodes. I had been working on this Flash game for Infinity Bit that would have been Infinity Bit the game. When I say Flash game, I don't mean like a cheap Flash game. I just mean it would have ran in Flash. And it would have been like this. There's like, I think on the Facebook page there's actually a picture of it somewhere of how gross the sprites look. And it was gonna be... I started making it when the most recent Infinity Bit related thing that happened was Infinity Bit Season 1 Episode 3. I hadn't even released the trailer for Season 1. This was way back, long ago, long ago. And I'd been working on this game for years and it went nowhere, and I'm kind of glad I got away from that project because it was just a mess. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way that this game turned out, and looking back at that project, this game could have been so much worse. And for what it is, which is an adaptation of a very crappy, low-budget YouTube series, I think it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty proud of what I made. And I hope that all the viewers of the show, all 2 of you, will enjoy this game. Because game good. I need to learn English. Thanks for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, blah blah blah, thanks, bye. I don't know, I can't do outros anymore. In all seriousness, thanks for watching. More content coming soon, I promise. I'm not dead. I really am working on stuff, I promise. It's just taking a really long time. And yeah. Yeah, why don't you, Squeak Voice? Well, thank you. I'd love to. That's great. Goodbye, guys. Goodbye, gamers.